Well, good morning. It is 10:48. I would like to welcome all management and councilors to this special public meeting of council. Just entering the door to council chambers here, we have Councilor Laura Aylward and Councilor White joining us. Please take your seats, ladies. And I'd also like to welcome, we have 3 attendees that have joined us via electronic media. So I would ask a member of council that we call the meeting to order. Moved by Councilor Tom O'Brien, seconder. Second Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 2, the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the town of Stephenville as the ancestral homeland of different populations of indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Item number 3, project amendment. I guess for a special meeting, I might as well just go ahead and share this one, I presume. Would that be appropriate, Jennifer? Yeah. Okay, so item number 3, project amendment 17-G1-24-00025. Be it resolved to amendment project number 17-G1-00025, Russell Height reconstruction to remove storm sewer reconstruction from the scope of the project. I so move. Second, Councilor Laura Aylward, all in favor? Question?
Yeah, what are we, what's the purpose of this here? What's the story behind it?
We can have Ira explain this.
Okay.
For us. Ira,
Yeah, what happened was when they applied for the funding, he included the storm system as you normally would. But when he got in the design stage, there is no storm system in Main Street in that area, There's nowhere to tie it in. They had to change while taking place.
And it amounts to a certain dollar amount that they provided all the details that will go into the amendment that goes back to municipal affairs and to government of Canada on this one.
So if we take it back, we'll tender it and see where the dollar comes in, because a lot of the construction this year look like. Stated already. So the won't take
Market
that,
prices increasing.
leave it there, see what tender comes in.
And I guess if there's nowhere to connect the storm's drainage, you just can't put it in because it's a bottleneck.
Yeah, I think the main concern was, it's pretty knows that's where I live, the main concern of people live on that street is the homes at the upper end, it's the water pressure, and there's been a constant leak there, I think.
Yeah.
Not there.
There's all.
Yeah, the old line, because there was a trailer park there, and there was still, some of the lines were from the old trailer park.
Big line on the between Dutchess.
Now, and the sewer system is very complicated.
Yeah.
Because half the people are connected over onto I guess the next street over. Something like Dutchess, yeah, over on Dutchess. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
for the sake, even though just for the sake of information, the estimate, and of course, this is just at an estimate stage from on Russell Heights that we were provided with by the consultant, and I'll just bring this up here. The project amendment request, of course, coming from the engineers, and indicated the original approved funding for this section was 1.248 million. And so the intent and request is to leave the amount there because there's an estimate of, they're seeing what, 20% increases basically.
Oh, God, more.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
For example, job closed in Deer Lake, $700,000 budget.
And on what dollar total?
I can't remember the number.
Yeah, but it was, there are significant impacts. So we'll remove the scope, but hopefully be able to keep the dollar amount as indicated, because really that market pressure on the overall would justify us maintaining the dollar amount at this stage and not necessarily have to give a credit for that scope. So that's what we're trying to do.
So good discussion. So we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item number 4 is rescinded approvals.
So I can explain this.
Yeah,
one.
can you,
So what we had was when the clerk was not here with us, we went through a series of approvals for borrowings that we plan to do, including the items that will follow in the agenda. We approved these, we sent the approvals off to Municipal Affairs, they reviewed them, they came back to us and said they're not in form, they need to be done a different way, you need to get all your rates and everything included in them. We had the rates, we just didn't put it into the council resolutions. And so this is just a straightening out of the documentation so that Municipal Affairs will then put through and review and hopefully approve these for borrowing. So there are 4 different items. One is the recently tendered Chevrolet Silverado 1500, which is ready to come and badly needed. The fire response vehicle we already have, which we were going to borrow rather than, and because we've already paid for that out of town funds. The building renovations for the YMCA, which are hopefully soon ready to go to tender. The Minnesota Drive overpass refurbishment, which we've also we've approved in principle, but we do have an application for that. These are, a lot of things are not ready to go yet, but we have to get the authorities in place. The vacuum sweeper truck, which was tendered, and we've made an arrangement with them. They're not taking us out of the queue on the production of that truck because it's a long lead item, and so they're continuing on with it, but we need to get this approval to borrow in place. And the ventilation system, which was approved at the last general council meeting. 2 items, the subsequent to the discussion and the previous quotes, we've made at least a 0.4% improvement in the, so they've gone mostly from 5.75% down to 5.25. In some cases, you'll see 5.35. So we've gotten an improvement in the rates because of the interest rate cuts by the Bank of Canada. And secondly, we've also an ability after the fact to potentially utilize some of our gas tax funding to settle some of these borrowings as soon as once we get them applied for and process done, then we can potentially use gas tax for some of these items, but that's going to require additional applications, which we've been working on this week in discussions with Municipal Affairs and the gas tax people. Call it gas tax, there's 2 different programs, federal and provincial. So we're very optimistic and surprised actually that we have a genuine bit of flexibility now for gas tax. So I wanted to explain that before we got into rescinding these. And these are the 4 of the rescinded items will be the new paragraphs for resolutions, and 1 is the additional one, get the approval to borrow to go forward with the ventilation system installation.
okay, so item number 4, rescinded approvals. Be it resolved to rescind the following resolutions. Number 1, 24-101. Number 2, 24-102. Number 3, 24-103. Number 4, 24-115. I so move. Seconder?
Second.
Second, Councillor Darren Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item number 5, approval to borrow the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Be it resolved that the town of council of Stephenville will approve to borrow $62,439 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following: the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 4-wheel drive, WD crew cab work truck with utility box cab. Net amount of capital equipment $62,439. GST rebate of $9,365.35 cents paid out of the town funds. Interest rate 5.35%. Monthly payment of $892.91. Term of 5 years. Amortization of 7 years.
Question. Any reason why we're amortizing over 7 years?
Just to keep the payment lower. That's the only reason. You can do it on 5, but then it'd be $1,000 a month. That the the request was, and most loans now for vehicles, if you're trying to borrow, is to make the loan lower. That was the request that I made to the lender, as opposed to going 5. It'll be adjusted after the 5 years for different interest rates. Municipal affairs is okay with that. That's the only reason, was a lot of loans are going 7 years. Our trucks actually last quite well, you know, because in the past, which is no trouble to have a truck last 10 years. And some of the ones up there are 15 years old, you know, and they're still going because they're not really high mileage vehicles, although some get rusty, but they still have useful into 7 years is a reasonable reason to amortize it. I think now you have a recommendation.
The vehicles, I'm trying to remember, the vehicles last a long time, but the issue is we're just doing it based for cash flow purposes, which is a temporary measure.
Yes.
So the indication that we got to watch every dollar that's coming in and coming out, because normally we would just pay off those vehicles and away you go, because you're paying interest, and to me, interest is money burned. Just we'll take a match and take $1 and burn it when you're paying interest, like that there, right?
So when we,
It gives an indication that we're tight on our cash.
when we go into our 2025 budget, we'll forecast capital expenditures based on revenue for cash purchase or anything we're looking at. And we'll get recommendations from finance and management. Should we borrow? Should we buy out? So on that note, I'm looking for a seconder on this motion. Deputy Mayor Susan Powell, seconder. All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, item number 6, approval to borrow. Yukon Fire Response Vehicle, be it resolved that the town of Stephenville will approve to borrow $92,751.77 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following 2023 four-wheel drive Yukon, net amount for capital equipment, $92,751.77. GST rebate of $13,912.77, paid out of town funds, interest rate at 5.35%, monthly payment of $1,326.40, term of 5 years, amortization 7 years. I so move. Seconder. Second, Councilor Laura Elbert. All in favor? Aye. Contraband? Carry. Okay, item number 7, approval to borrow YMCA building renovations. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville approved to borrow $575,549.25 from Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following. YMCA building renovations, net amount for capital equipment is $575,549.25. GST rebate of $86,332.39 paid out of town funds. Interest rate 5.49%, monthly payment of $6,244.13, term of 5 years, amortization of 10 years. I so move.
Okay.
Second by Councilor Darren Roberts. All in favor? No question? Aye. Aye. Everybody's an aye? No counter mine, carry.
Should we note there that this $575,000 is just our contribution towards a retrofit of the building. I think the total project's 2.39 and 2.59. So you mean this is just our portion of a major renovation of that building.
It's a retrofit to a great building.
Yeah. And then that's the reason why the amortization was set at 10 years and not 20. If it was a new property, we'd probably go 20 or 25.
That's right.
Okay, item number 8, approval to borrow Minnesota Drive overpass refurbishment. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville approved to borrow $552,980 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following Minnesota Drive overpass refurbishment project. Number 17-RNC-22-00016. Net amount for capital equipment, $555,980. GST rebate of $82,947. Paid out of town funds. Interest rate of 5.25%. Monthly payment of $4,445.81. Term of 5 years. Amortization of 15 years.
Is the mayor,
Okay.
Just-
Can I get a seconder before we get questions?
No, hold on, you stated 550, you didn't state 552,980. You made a mistake when you were saying that, so.
Correct.
Capital equipment, 552,980.
Okay, okay, I'll just restate it again. Right from
Should
the
that hurt?
Be it resolved that the town council of Stephenville approved to borrow $552,980 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following. Minnesota Drive Overpass Refurbishment Project number 17-RNC-22-000016. Net amount of capital equipment is $552,980. GST rebate of $82,947. Paid out of town funds, interest rate at 5.25%, monthly payment of $4,445.81, term of 5 years with amortization of 15 years. I so move. Second, Councillor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Quick question, do one of these two projects looking at starting?
I'm not sure, Lloyd.
Matt has information on this particular one.
Yeah, so with this one, where it's a change of scope, so we for the federal, government pieces as
Yes.
well. So the province is still waiting for feedback.
Okay.
And this would potentially be, I think, 1/3 each,
1/3 each, yeah.
1/3 federal, 1/3 provincial.
No, that's, yeah.
Okay, good question. Okay, item number 9, approval to borrow vacuum sweeper truck. Be it resolved that the town council of Stephenville approved to borrow $455,700 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following. Vacuum sweeper truck, net amount for capital equipment of $455,700, GST rebate of $68,355 paid out of town funds, interest rate of 5.49%, monthly payment of $4,935.89, term of 5 years, amortization of 10 years. I so move. Second, Councillor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, the last one, approval to borrow ventilation system and installation. Be it resolved that the town council of Stephenville approve to borrow $92,477.08 from the Royal Bank of Canada, St. John's NL for the following ventilation system and installation for our fire department. GST rebate of paid out of town funds of $8,615.64, interest rate of 5.49%, monthly payment of $1,003.29, term of 5 years, amortization of 10 years. I so move. Second, Councillor Myra White, cut you ahead. I'm just by a smidgen.
Yes,
Millisecond. Yes.
I'm waiting for your adjournment.
No, actually, I got better hearing on this side and this side, so. Comes with age, eh? Yeah, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, nothing, that's the special meeting. This is about fiscal, financial instruments that manages our finance department. I want to thank management and the finance department, the staff, for all the work they've done to get us to this stage. Takes a lot of work. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Move by council. Seconder.
That's sure.
Second.
I was gonna take it from you.
We worked good together on that closure, right?
Second.
Second, Councilor Miller, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried, meeting canceled. Over.
Oh, meeting canceled.
Meeting canceled.
It's summertime, it's heat.